Forcible entry is often one of the first operations conducted at a scene to gain entry into a secured area and building, whether in a fire, medical aid, or other type of emergency. At structure fires, a delay in gaining forcible entry will reduce the ability to mount an aggressive fire attack, allowing the fire to extend out of control. Also, rescue operations require forcible entry to gain access to areas where victims are located. In addition, with renewed emphasis on rapid intervention teams for the rescue of trapped firefighters, requires all firefighters to be knowledgeable and proficient with forcible entry tools. Forcible entry is a combination of knowledge and skills used to gain entry to a structure where the windows, doors are locked, blocked, or in some cases do not exist. To perform this essential task, firefighters must be knowledgeable about building construction and their operation of locking devices to break, remove, or bypass these elements. In addition, the firefighter must possess the skills gained by training and experience to apply this knowledge using a variety of tools. A working knowledge of many types of locks, hardware, doors, and other assemblies is essential to the successful operation of forcible entry. Firefighters must be able to size up the quickest and easiest way to gain access to a building, such as doors or windows. In addition, the firefighter must know which type of tool to use and the best method to access through the door to the building. The element of skill involves a firefighter's ability to apply knowledge of building construction, lock assemblies, tools, and techniques to accomplish the necessary task of forcible entry. This means choosing the proper tools and applying the best techniques when using the tools. Again, skills are developed by repeated practice and experimenting with new tools, locks, and techniques. Experience can be acquired by three means. One is through drills and practice at training sessions, and another is at the scene of actual fires and emergencies. Both are means by which skill is developed and knowledge is gained as well as reinforced. A third and very good method of acquiring experience is learning through other people's experience through case studies and reports. Still, the most important experience is gained through field operations when firefighter skills and knowledge are put to the true test. Firefighters must have an understanding and knowledge of the tools available to conduct forcible entry. The selection and use of the right tool is essential if the task of forcible entry is going to be completed as quickly as possible. Although any number of tools can be used to accomplish a task, the right tool for the right job is the quickest and easiest way to complete the operation. Because of geography and local tradition, many of the tools we're going to talk about may have different names. It's important for each firefighter to know what tools on their truck are called. Tools used for forcible entry operations are divided into several families or groups based on their intended uses. Now let's discuss each. The first family of forcible entry tools we'll talk about is striking tools. Striking tools is used to deliver impact to other tools such as the Halligan tool in order to drive it into place. Striking tools are used for impact delivery to the lock or the door itself. They may force the door or even break it down. Now let's discuss a couple of the striking tools. The flathead axe is the most common of the striking tools. Although this tool may be used for cutting, it is generally used to drive the Halligan tool. The axe and the Halligan tool are married together to form the irons and are one of the most important and useful of all forcible entry tools. The handle of the axe may be comprised of wood or fiberglass. Fiberglass is best for all purposes due to its high strength and ease of maintenance. The next striking tool we'll talk about is the maul or sledgehammer. It is generally found in several sizes, with the 10-pound maul or sledgehammer being the most common and versatile. Sometimes this maul or sledge may be paired with the Halligan to form another set of irons. Once again, fiberglass handles are recommended for the strength and safety. The next group or family we'll talk about is prying tools, which is used to spread apart a door from its jamb, move objects, or expose a locking device. The Halligan tool has proven to be the most important single forcible entry tool used in the fire service. Halligan tools are made in several different weights and lengths and of different materials. The basic Halligan design is a tool that has three primary parts. They are the adze end, the pike end, and the fork end. The size and shape of the parts are important because they determine the mechanical advantage the tool will apply to the spreading force. Other examples of prying or spreading tools are the claw tool, the Kelly tool, hydraulic cutters, and also miscellaneous prying tools, as shown in the picture. The next group we'll talk about is cutting tools. Cutting tools are used to cut away materials and expose the locking devices or cut through a door or wall to accomplish forcible entry. There's a great variety of cutting tools. For example, we have axes, hacksaws, bolt cutters, power cutting tools, different types of blade from carbide tip to metal to masonry. We have chainsaws, recip saws, cutting torches, to name a few. Now, one that I really want to talk about is the axe. The fire department axe is seen in two basic configurations, the flathead axe and the pithead axe. The flathead axe is the most commonly used as a striking tool for forcible entry. In addition to cutting, this tool may be used for prying, especially when equipped with a fiberglass handle. The pithead axe has a point that can be used for puncturing, pulling, and in limited extent, prying. It is recommended that all axes be equipped with fiberglass handles for strength and safety. The next family or group we'll talk about is pulling tools. The most common pulling tool is the hook or pike pull. These tools are grouped by the type of head and handle length and are used to open up walls and ceilings, to vent windows, and to pull up roof boards or other building materials. And the last family or group we'll talk about is through the lock. Now there's a bunch of special tools out there that were designed by firefighters with years of experience and through trial and error. The Bam Bam or dent puller is used to pull lock cylinders. The duckbill lock breaker is a wedge designed to break open heavy-duty padlocks. And the K-tool is used to perform through the lock forcible entry. The K-tool is designed to pull out the lock cylinders and expose the mechanism in order to open the lock with various key tools. As with all tools and equipment, if misused or used for the wrong task, forcible entry tools will create safety hazards. Firefighters will become familiar with the tools, their operation, and their maintenance during training, which should result in safe operation. Some general rules for using forcible entry equipment include: always wear your personal protective equipment, including hand and eye protection. Follow your manufacturer guidelines for proper operations. Do not attempt to cut materials other than that which a blade is designed for. Operate with regard to the safety of others in the immediate work area. Make sure tools are in a proper working operating condition before use. If a tool requires 2 firefighters, make sure you use 2 firefighters. When the task is complete, make sure your tool goes back where it needs to go. Don't leave it around as for a tripping hazard. And always, at the end of a call, store in a proper cabinet. That way on the next call, you'll go to the right cabinet when that tool is needed. As the use of security gates and overhead doors increases, the power saw has become the tool of choice to remove the door or gate. The rotary saw with a metal cutting blade is an effective tool for these operations. These saws present a number of hazards, and firefighters should follow some guidelines to complete the operation safely. These guidelines include making sure you follow the manufacturer instructions, doing daily checks, checking operation and blade condition, making sure the fuel is topped up, ready to roll, using the right blade for the material being cut, never carry a running saw up a ladder or through a crowd, wearing the proper PPE, eye protection, and gloves, making sure when using your rotary saws. Many forcible entry tools have sharp or pointed ends and must be carried safely from the fire apparatus to the fire scene. Firefighters should always be aware of their safety in addition to the safety of their other firefighters. For axes, try carrying with the blade away from your body and the pick head covered. For prying tools, similar to the axe, pointed and sharp edges should be carried away from the body and covered if possible. With striking tools, these tend to be heavy, so the head should be carried close to the ground and not allowed to swing freely. Now let's talk about maintenance of forcible entry tools. Proper maintenance is the first step to tool safety. Tools must be inspected and cleaned on a regular basis and checked for wear and damaged parts. Some general guidelines for inspecting forcible entry equipment include making sure we have them clean and operational. Make sure you follow your manufacturer department guidelines for this. Documentation of tool maintenance is important. Make sure you follow your department procedures and protocols. If something needs to be marked out of service, make sure you know how to do so. Now, a couple points for inspecting a tool with metal head or parts. Make sure you remove any dirt or rust. Use a metal file to maintain proper profile and cutting edge, and use a file also to sharpen the edges. Don't keep the blade too sharp though, this may cause it to chip when in use. Do not grind the blade because it can overheat, lose temper, and become soft. Do not paint the metal parts because they will cause sticking and also hide any damage. And you can also keep all metal parts lightly oiled to prevent rust. Now with tools with fiberglass handles, make sure you wash them with soap and water and dry completely. Check for damage or cracks, and make sure metal parts are secure. And lastly, tools with wood handles, make sure they're cleaned with soap and water, rinse and dry completely. Check for damage and sand off any splinters. Do not paint or varnish the handles. A coat of boiled linseed oil may be applied if necessary. Boiled linseed oil, you could find that on a test, so know that. Ensure that the head is securely fastened to the handle, and that's all good for maintenance. Let's talk about methods of forcible entry. For the fire department operation, there are 3 standard methods of forcible entry: conventional, through the lock, and powered tools. These methods involve the use of certain tools and application of many techniques. All forcible entry operations must be coordinated with fire attack and ventilation. Lack of coordination may result in rapid fire spread or a backdraft. Coordination, coordination, coordination. Forcible entry, you need coordination. Ventilation, you need coordination. Guess what? On the fire scene, it has to be coordinated. Conventional forcible entry is the old and reliable method involving the use of leverage, force, and impact. The primary tools using this method are the irons, consisting of the Helgen and the flathead axe. This technique requires procedures that will accomplish one or more of the following: forcing the door away from the jamb, pulling the bolt away from the strike plate. You can break the lock of the striker. You can break the door down or off the frame, force or remove the hinges, or even breach the wall or door. Now when performing forcible entry, make sure you do a quick size up before you do. Take a look, what's the best way? To force that door off, or to break the glass, reach inside and undo that lock? The through the lock method of forcible entry involves attacking the locking mechanism by removing the key cylinder and then operating the lock with the best alternative means. This method of forcible entry is the best applied to a mortise, rim, or tubular type locking cylinders. In general, the choice of through the lock forcible entry is made when entry needs to be gained without causing damage or minimal damage. Sometimes it will also be quickest means of entry and the best method when forcing metal frame glass and on glass doors. And the last method is using power tools such as a K12, chainsaw, recip saw, you name it. Now with power tools, sometimes they fail, so you need to always have a backup plan just in case they don't start. They should though, because you should inspect them before your shift or on a weekly or monthly basis. But always have that backup plan in mind if something doesn't go right with your power tools. Doors are manufactured in many styles. They can be plastic, wood, metal, or even glass. The door assembly consists of the door itself, the frame or jamb, the mounting hardware, and the locking device mounted in the jamb. Now that locking device can be rabbeted or stopped. A rabbeted jamb is formed or milled into the casing that the door closes against to form a seal. The stop jamb has a piece of molding nailed or attached to the casing of the door to close against. The stop jamb can be removed, allowing access to the lock assembly and hence easier forcible entry. Locks are designed and intended to keep people out. Firefighters will face the problem of a locked door and entry access on a regular basis. The most important part of forcible entry is to know the type of lock, how the lock operates, and how to disable it. Knowing this will save valuable time and energy on the fireground and provide quicker access, rescue, and fire extinguishment. Types of locks include key in the knob lock, which is common in residential occupancies and on interior doors in commercial occupancies. The mortise lock, designed to fit in a cavity in the edge of a door and usually found in commercial occupancies. Rim locks, also known as surface locks, are attached to the inside of a door with a cylinder extending through the door and with the keyway visible on the outside. Tubular locks are mounted in a hole that has been bored into the door and are best described as a combination of a key and a knob lock and a mortise lock. Padlocks, which are portable and detachable locking devices that are manufactured for regular and heavy-duty service. And lastly, special locks, such as locks for over-the-head doors, magnetic locks, car key, or even biometric locks. Windows. Windows are found in many different types, styles, sizes, and construction. These are installed in buildings to provide light and natural ventilation. Usually firefighters will force entry into a structure using door openings. However, windows may be used as alternate means of entry, especially for rapid intervention team operations. To successfully conduct forcible entry through the windows, firefighters must know the 4 construction features of windows, which includes the glazing, the sash, the frame, and security devices. There are many types of windows, as shown here on this slide. Each requires a specialized technique to force entry through it. There are 2 general reasons to force a window: to gain entry or horizontal ventilation. Glazing. The glass or other clear material portion of the window that allows light to enter is the glazing. The most common glazing is glass. There are different types of glass, and here are a few: regular or plate glass, tempered glass, laminated glass, and wire glass. Now let's discuss each. Regular glass is relatively weak and easy to break, and when struck with a tool it breaks into very sharp knife-like shards. So be careful. Use a tool such as a pike pole that works best. Tempered glass is a material that has glass that has been heat treated to give it additional strength. The technique to use when breaking tempered glass is to strike the glass with a pointed tool. You'll find tempered glass in car windows. Laminated glass is also known as safety glass. It is commonly composed of 2 or more sheets of glass with a plastic sheet between them. In a car, your front windshield will have a laminated glass in it. And wire glass, which has a wire mesh embedded between the 2 or more layers of glass. The primary purpose is to give the glass increased fire resistance, and that's why you're going to find these on fire doors. Now let's talk about breaching walls and floors. Emergency situations often dictate that walls of a structure may have to be opened to allow entry or to remove trapped firefighters or victims. This is especially true in events of a collapse or blocked exit. There are 2 main considerations when breaching walls: the type of construction of the building and your tools available.